The grief over losing loved ones leaves us with a shock that no one can truly describe. How can we quickly accept that someone who was there, living an ordinary life, eating and laughing, suddenly disappears? The impact of loss is painful and lingers. It may last for a year, 2 years, or even a lifetime. Can we learn something from grief, or we just lose? When someone dear to you dies, it often makes you reconsider your life or realize the value of things you never cared about before. Once upon a time in ancient Iraq, there was a king who was half god and half human, a tyrant named Gilgamesh, ruler of the city of Erech. The gods decided to punish him for his arrogance, so they created a rival to challenge him. His name was Enkidu. At first they fought, but Gilgamesh won, and in the end, they became friends. Together, they went on many adventures, battling with monsters, such as Himbaba, the guardian of the cedar forest. The gods became angry and decided that one of them must die. They chose Enkidu as a punishment for defying their will. Gilgamesh was devastated, and for the first time, he faced the reality of death, determined never to die. He set out on a journey to discover the secret of immortality. He met Utnapishtim, a man who had survived the great flood in ancient times, and was rewarded with eternal life by the gods. Utnapishtim told him, if you want immortality, you must prove yourself by staying awake for 7 days. Of course, Gilgamesh failed the test and returned home defeated. There, he realized that death is inevitable, but he also understood that one can leave behind a legacy that endures. That is the only path to immortality. From then on, Gilgamesh resolved to think of his own people and to rule with greater wisdom and justice than before. Grief and shock, despite the pain and denial they carry, can teach you lessons far deeper than happiness ever could. Before any theories related to grief, we must focus on the changes that occur in the brain after the bereavement. Forgetfulness, mixing up words, feeling overwhelmed, emotional distraction. Conversations become difficult to continue because the brain keeps replaying the memory. This is called brain fog. The reason is that grief reduces the use of the prefrontal cortex, which under normal circumstances is responsible for logical thinking, and instead activates the limbic system, also known as the emotional brain. The limbic system in grief functions through key parts. The hippocampus. The hippocampus is responsible for retrieving information and forming memory. It perceives grief as a threat and therefore activates the amygdala. Secondly, the amygdala. The amygdala, located in front of the hippocampus. In grief, it intensifies negative emotions such as deep sadness, fear, and anxiety. In prolonged grief disorder, PGD, the amygdala contributes to intense yearning and emotional pain, which hinders adaptation and acceptance of the loss. So, the hippocampus and amygdala unite to resist grief, but the symptoms of their work aren't comfortable. The stages of grief and whether we can actually benefit from this difficult period in our lives. First of all, not everyone is the same. Not everyone can reach a place of creativity after going through grief, but personally, I feel that creative people who have experienced such a loss often try to push the grief outside of themselves and place it into the real world. The result is often a remarkable artistic work. As for the well-known stages of grief, bargaining, depression, denial, and so on, it's important to understand that we don't necessarily move through them in a straight line. It's not as if we finish bargaining and then move on to the next stage. We might complete bargaining, fall into depression, and then return again to bargaining, or we might remain in one stage for years. At the end of this video, I wish strength and patience to anyone going through such a difficult stage, because those who have experienced it know how hard it truly is. The most important thing is to accept our feelings and our pain, and it's absolutely fine if healing takes a long time. What matters most is that we try to reach the point where we can say as a person, I must make an effort to lift myself out of this hard period. The people we've lost will always remain with us, a part of us, We can keep them alive in our hearts when we honor their memory, do the things they loved, or even help others in need. That can give us hope that tomorrow might be better. Ciao.